All right, what is up, Midweek Motivation people? We are live at 5 Stone Realty Group today with my good friend Landon. We'll talk a little bit more with him in just a moment, but let's go ahead and let's get some stuff out the way here. You know the deal. Go ahead, like, subscribe, follow. Let us know in the chat that you are here. We're going to do our best to give you a shout out. We got Kim. Oh, man. Postles? Kim, I need you to tell me how to say your name. What is going on here? Where did it go? There it is. John Spencer is watching.
Is it Paetzel?
Paetzel, P-O-S-T-L-E-S. I'm the worst with names. I'm pretty sure Baptism Sunday, I butchered half of those names. Like, they're probably like, I wanted that recording, but that dude don't know how to say my name. I'm the worst for that. I apologize. But good to have you with us, Kim. Man, this thing is not being my friend today. It don't want to show me who's up here. Let us know if you're on the app, if you're on the website. Let us know you're here. We don't know if you don't tell us. If you're on YouTube, we got Cody and John. They're not on the screen. They're off to the side. We got the whole team with us plus Landon today. We might recruit him. You never know. Like he ain't got nothing else going on with a newborn baby at home. Which is growing like a weed. I am rambling already. We just started, and I'm already on a roll today, man.
Reel it in.
So, yeah, like, subscribe, follow, download our mobile app just on your app store, Parkway Roanoke. Just search that. Or you can go to our website, parkwayroanoke.com. Scroll to the bottom. It'll show you there how you can download the app. If you've missed our episodes, I had some issues getting the one from last week loaded. I got it saved, got it edited. I'll try to get it up there. But most of our more recent episodes are on our website, parkwayroanoke.com. You can look up at the top where it says watch and then scroll down to Midweek Motivation, and you can watch the episodes there. One other thing, we got, I don't think that Little John was, I don't think Little John was found last week. So be on the lookout for him. He's hiding in something, but you can still see him if you look. And if you don't know about Little John, you take Little John to the cafe, mention Midweek Motivation, and you get you something for free from the cafe.
He's where you'd put your ornaments, right?
Kind of.
I'm just trying to throw a little hint out there.
Yeah, he's kind of where you would put your ornaments, but he's not where you would put your ornaments. Would y'all be able to understand?
I think we just confused people. I was trying to give him a hint.
I don't know where it is.
We got Tyler. Tyler, I'm not even going to try to say your last name. Yeah, but
Ciaffardini.
What?
Ciaffardini.
Ciaffardini. Do you know Ciaffardini?
No, I'm sorry, Tyler.
Man, you said that with so much confidence.
You just say it with confidence.
Man, like I was believing you, dude. So what? We got John Brunk. Hey, listen, man, I got to give John Brunk a shout out. I saw John Sunday. John's kid was baptized, and then John comes up, and I'm the worst with names. We're having a full-blown conversation, and John said, "Do you realize who I am?" I'm like, nah, like the way you come in and talk to me, I just assumed I knew you. So I'm having a conversation with John. I don't even know it's John. He was like, I'm John Brunk. And I was like, bro. And then like, this was so cool. A couple of seconds later, his daughter comes up. She was like, guess what I did today? And I was like, what? And I knew because I had seen her on the camera screen. She was like, I gave my heart to Jesus today. And so John, yeah, how cool is that, man? One kid baptized, one kid saved. And so John, I think he said his wife was like, I brought enough tissues because his daughter danced. I brought enough tissues for the dance. I brought enough tissues for the baptism, but I did not bring enough tissues for the salvation. So, man, John, that is huge. Congrats to you, bro. Thank you so much for being faithful. We got, I'm pretty sure it's not Kevin. We got John's mom with us, and maybe it's Kevin. I don't know. We got John's mom watching with us as well. So we are on our Good Neighbor tour, and we're going to jump into all that in just a little bit. We're gonna try to make this exactly 30 minutes today. I was expecting laughter there. You guys already know. I mean, you can.
Where's
tell
the trombone button? Wah, wah,
here we go. We're gonna try to make this exactly 30 minutes, so we're gonna jump on in. Hey guys, this is midweek motivation. All right. Hey, look on the bottom of your screen there. You can see where's that noise coming from? Is it up here? Man, why am I hearing that in here? You got your phone on? Was that you, Brandon?
No, that's all the way down.
Why am I hearing that? What in the world? Hold on. What's going on, man? There we go. We're good now. I figured it out. I'm the tech pastor. Did you guys know that? All right.
So we were praying for a clean technical show, and the only issue we had was user error. Nothing's going wrong, and you messed it up.
It's him.
Cody, tag you're in. I'm out. Hey, listen, on the bottom of your screen right now, there is our midweek motivation number. Text the word motivate to 540-900-3838. You'll be joined in on our group. Be sure, though, that you complete that Connect card, because if not, you're just a number, and we want to be able to love on you, support you, pray. It is John's mom. It's not Kevin. What is Kevin doing? Kevin, get on the show. Kevin was on the show as the turkey a couple weeks ago. That was pretty cool. Go back and watch that one. I'll put it up hopefully this week. Text motivate 540-900-3838. Hey, Megan, this is our Good Neighbor Tour, and I just want to kind of start the show just kind of talking about why we decided to do this Good Neighbor Tour. It really kind of just poured out of your heart for missions and in truly being a good neighbor as Scripture tells us to do.
Yeah, so I think we talked about this maybe on our first episode, but it's good to review. I think I was at Starbucks one day going through the drive-thru, and I looked across the road and I saw the church. And I was like, wow, we have this beautiful church, and we have so many beautiful people in our church. And we've got all these neighbors that may or may not know us at Parkway. So I just thought, wow, why don't we spend like 12 months getting to know our neighbors and just going and visiting people, blessing them, not asking for really anything in return other than just, hey, let's be a good neighbor to you. So as we discussed that, then you had the idea of kind of hopping on the midweek motivation, combining those two ideas and going out for our Good Neighbor Tour. So that's what we're doing here today.
Yeah, and Scripture clearly tells us to love your neighbor as yourself. In fact, he says there. I love how Brandon said this one week. He pointed out, and I've read it and I know it, where it says that there's basically two new commandments, commandments that sum it all up, and they are of equal importance, and that's love God and love people, love God and love your neighbor, and they're equal. You got it's not one or the other. You got to do both. And so that's kind of what we're doing with our Good Neighbor Tour. And so we got one of my really good friends who really is part of the reason that I got a roof over my head. We got Landon Johnson with us. He is the owner, the everything to Five Stones, correct?
Broker.
Five Stone broker. Yeah, that's what I was looking for.
That's it.
Yeah, man. Work with me. So Landon, I want you just to I want to start off just you sharing what Five Stone, like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
When somebody sees your logo or hears your name, like, share with us what that means, where that came from.
Yeah. First, thanks for let me come on. This has been something that I know you and I have talked about for months, and so what an honor it is to get here with you guys. But to be honest, Five Stone was something at the beginning that it was just, I was studying David, and I thought it was really cool. It sounded good. But it comes from the story of David and Goliath. And instead of kind of conventional wisdom where Saul asked David to put on his armor and go fight a giant that nobody else would, David goes and picks up 5 smooth stones from the river, from the creek, and goes and kills the giant.
Yeah.
And so I think it speaks so much about obedience and faithfulness and preparation.
Yeah.
He pulled on a lot of experiences where God had showed up in the past to say, hey, I got this when nobody else would.
Yeah, and isn't that kind of what happened as you were like wanting to start this? Like you just had to really have that obedience. Like, man, and God, you've shown up before. I know you're going to show up again, and that's something that we all face, where we have to just trust God in some of the wildest moments in our lives, and we need to be reminded of those 5 smooth stones.
That's right.
You know, one of the things that I also think about is, I think there's an importance to, and I didn't plan on sharing this.
Here we go.
I think there's an importance to the 5 smooth stones. You know, these could have been rough stones, and if they weren't smooth, it could have changed the trajectory of it. That was a hard word to say.
There we go.
Trajectory of it. It could have changed the trajectory of it. I got to stop saying that. But they were smooth.
Right.
And the reason they were smooth is because they had been weathered. Those stones had running water over them. There's no telling where they had come from, down the mountain or whatever, down the stream. They had been weathered. They had been through a process. So before David picks up the stones have already been through a process. And then they're in the right shape for what he was getting ready to go do.
Yep.
That's amazing to me, how God does those things. And then the fact that you chose 5 stone. I'm gonna be transparent on our journey here that brought us to Parkway. We were moving in the giant of the housing market, where it was an absolute nightmare. And 5 smooth stones is what helped us slay our giant and get a house.
That's exactly it. And there were so many moving parts that had to come together from that.
Yeah.
For that to work.
Oh,
and looking back on it, it's just, and it was y'all's faithfulness. I know with your testimony, God called you to do something.
Yeah.
And maybe it didn't make sense to everybody or even you guys.
Yeah.
But it was like you did it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's huge.
Yeah, and I gotta go here with this. We don't. Man, I was about to say it ain't in the show notes. We ain't even got show notes today.
He said we're just talking.
So Megan, before we came on the show, just talking about how God lines things up, and I'm trying to. So I gotta tell you guys, Brandon said if there was ever a dead moment in the show, he was going to sing carols. I don't know if you've heard him sing. I haven't. I don't know if I want to find out on live. So I'm trying not to have any dead moments in this show, so Brandon don't sing.
Trying to keep my throat clear here. I got my water just in case it happens.
But so before we started the show, just the fact that we're here has already, just God has proven himself faithful. You were talking about how you've been trying to figure out paint colors and cabinet colors and for this property. And Megan, she's sitting over there, she's like, You do know that I got it. What is it? Interior design degree?
Yes.
And
She's already helped me.
Yeah, we've already decided the color of the front door.
That's right.
Done.
yeah, is that not so awesome how God just pieces things together? Yeah. So, Landon, you and Megan were talking a little bit before. And Brandon, you feel free to chime in. I feel like my back is turned to you. I do still love
Oh, it's all good.
Y'all were talking before. Corey, good to have you with us. If I missed you, anybody else that's on? Rachel, good to have you. Sean Witt, yo. Oh, here we go. Good timing for you. Ready?
Let's go.
What's up, Sean?
Good to have Sean Witt with us. But you guys were talking before, and Megan, you asked Landon. Well, just go ahead and ask him what you guys are talking about being a good neighbor before, and kind of. You already shared your vision, but what's one of the things that we hope to get out of Midweek Motivation and our Good Neighbor Tour?
Yeah, I think what we're trying to do is discover, what does it mean to different people to be a good neighbor? Because that could have many different definitions. So that's kind of what we're trying to discover here together as we go out to different places, is what does it mean to be a good neighbor? So I commented that it must be a real blessing for Landon to be able to, that's part of his job, is positioning people in neighborhoods to actually be good neighbors. So I see that as a real ministry part of what you do. So how does that daily in your work? How do you see being a good neighbor kind of ties into your job.
Yeah. One of the things we talk about here at the brokerage with all the agents, we talk about having a plan and having a vision. And it's anybody can be great because we can all serve. And I think when we talk about dealing with neighborhoods and positioning people, this is a big choice in their life, buying a house and moving your family. And when we view it as service instead of just as a business or a profit.
Hold on, I got to say it. Cody missed his chance. Put that on a T-shirt. Anybody can be great because we can serve.
Yeah, and I'm sure I stole that from somebody. So
We're giving you credit. Put that on a T-shirt, as Cody would say.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But that's what being a neighbor is for us. It's everybody that we come in contact
That's
with.
great.
We get a chance to serve them.
Yeah. That is so good. And you guys can't see this, but right behind the camera is a list of all of these properties that either you're working with, you've sold. I don't really know all the details behind them, but there's a list of neighborhoods back here that because of your obedience, because of your faithfulness, because of the 5 smooth stones that God gave you during this process of starting this company, not only have you blessed me, but I'm looking at neighborhoods and homes and families that are being blessed because you're being a good neighbor. Right. And so I just want to ask, like, in this industry, what's it like to be a man of faith? And I know you got to deal with some difficult people.
Yeah.
What's it like to be a man of faith in these situations, and how do you correlate those two? Because obviously there's a business side to it, but now knowing you started out as my realtor, I guess is the right term, and then you quickly became a brother. Yeah. Now you're a leader in one of our ministries. You serve on my team. You got a love for God and a love for people, which is exactly what our Good Neighbor Tour is about. So what is it like for you? And Brandon and I have had this conversation. What's it like to be a man of faith, to be a believer in an industry that isn't necessarily conducive to that?
Yeah, add to that a little bit. Like I've been in sales before, and the stigma around salespeople, right? You get that stigma, and it's tough to be a man of faith and get in front of people when you already have that stigma of, salespeople are crooked and, things like that. So how do you deal with that type of stuff?
Yeah, I think going back to talking about the vision and the values and being very clear with when I start a relationship with a potential client, obviously it is a business and we do need to make money. That's a point of why we do it.
Yeah.
But having the emphasis on the relationship and being very clear that we want to help them make the best decision for them. And that starts with listening. That's the biggest skill that we can all learn is active listening, not just waiting to sell and not waiting to close.
Right.
We got to close. We got to know how to close, but we've got to hear where they're coming from and what's important to them. So the faith changes your perspective.
Oh, absolutely.
And so having faith that when a tough deal or a tough client comes into our lives, we've got to keep doing the right thing, even when it doesn't make sense. And back to, David, it doesn't always make sense to people from the outside, but we know we're going to do the right thing, and God is sovereign, God is in charge, and so eventually it's going to work out if we're following him and being faithful.
Yeah, you just referenced David again, and I just had this thought. Saul tried to give David his armor.
Yeah.
And most people in their right mind, having armor is the right thing for going into battle.
Yeah.
But not only was armor not right, it wasn't the right armor. It wasn't David's armor. And God shifted his perspective like, David, you don't need armor.
Yeah.
What you need is 5 smooth stones that I've already prepared for you. Right. And so often we try to force our things. So we're like, even us, like when we were searching for a house, we were kind of trying to, obviously you want the house that you want, but we were trying to force some of our things on there. Sue, good to have you with us. But we were trying to force our things on there. And I think so often we do that. And And God, we're kind of having that David and Goliath and that Saul moment where God is like, that's not what you need. I already got what you need. So stop focusing on the need for this armor, or stop focusing on Saul, and understand, go down here to the creek, the most unlikely place to find a weapon, and pick up these 5 smooth stones that I have already allowed to be weathered in the exact shape so that they are the right trajectory and the wind does not affect them when you sling them at this giant to make him fall. Yeah. I've already prepared it for you. Just have faith.
Right.
Can you imagine what David was thinking when God told him, like, hey, go down to the river and get the 5 stones to take out this giant?
Yeah, and they just show up
this
like,
is a
bro,
giant.
like,
God, have you lost your mind?
you for real?
Yeah.
And we do that sometimes. We're like, God doesn't
All
know.
the time.
Nope, not happening. And I'm about to be real transparent. When we moved here, we thought because it was a God thing that it was just going to be smooth. Yeah. And then the housing market tanked. And thank God for the Leonards who allowed us to hang out with them and quickly become their family. But, it tanked. And there were, I can't say that there wasn't moments of like, okay, God, if this is really you, then why is this so hard? Yeah. And then, like today, I think back to David, like, I can't imagine what he was thinking. Like, here I got this armor. I got Saul who's willing to help me, and you telling me to go to a creek?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And everybody's telling him that his brothers were mad at him, and Goliath, it makes fun of him when he goes out there.
Yeah.
And to still have the faith, not to say, well, I might do this or God might come through, but he said, no, I am going to do this.
Yeah.
And it is going to work out because God's on my side.
And not even that, like, he was the last one. Like, they didn't even want to choose him. Like, he was the forgotten redheaded stepchild out in the field.
Hey.
Oh, yikes, man.
But, like, his confidence in normal circumstances would have already been depleted. Right. Because he wasn't even chosen. It's like being picked last in gym or last on a pickup basketball game. And here he is. He's like, God told me to do it. It's going to happen. That's right. And we can learn so much. And it's such a familiar story that we can learn so much from. We're at almost a little over 3/4 the way through with the show. This has been good. I'm so thankful, Landon, that you have been here. And I just want to give a shout out. If you are looking to purchase a home, shout out your website or contact info. I wish I had a screen for it, but let them know how they can get in contact with you. And I want to say this, and this isn't just because he's the one that I bought my house from. I trust this guy. And when you're buying a house, that is hard.
Huge.
Cody said I might have picked up 6 or 7 stones, but David knew to trust God's word. And speaking of trust, I trust. He don't have a mic, so he had to text it in. Hey, it's all right, man.
I'm like, wait. He's right there.
Let me say something, bro.
We need a whiteboard for them to hold up.
So Landon is a very trustworthy individual. Like I said, he serves at our church. I would trust him with my family, with my kids. So we didn't do this to give him a shout out or a promo or anything, but and there's a lot of good people out there, a lot of good realtors out there, a lot of good realty groups, but I wanted to give you a chance just to kind of share maybe somebody that's Christmas shopping for a house. What a present.
Please.
Just kind of share how they can get in contact with you, website.
Website, fivestonehomes.com. That's got all of our agents on there. We're Google, Facebook, Instagram. We've got all the social media. So, or just text me. My number is everywhere online that needs to be found. So, yeah.
I like.
Send me a message.
like I'm not gonna say it here.
We're everywhere.
You want to contact me? Go to that website. Do some legwork. I like that. Megan, one of the things that we said we wanted to do when we decided on doing our Good Neighbor Tour was that we didn't want to just show up. And Landon, I appreciate what you said when I was talking with you. You was like, man, just you guys being here is so special.
Absolutely.
but we want to be a blessing. We want you to be a good neighbor, but we also want to be a good neighbor to you. And so before Megan kind of shares how we want to be a good neighbor to you, you have a big event coming up tomorrow night.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's open to the public, but it's one of those things where you're giving back to those that you've had the opportunity to work alongside. And so you want to share just a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, we would have loved to open it to the public. We rented out the Grandin Theater this week.
Yeah.
And it's just something that the agents here at the office, that friends, family, some past clients, that we wanted to rent it out and do an event, free drinks, popcorn. We're going to have some prizes.
That's soda. Yeah, just for, this is a Christian podcast.
It is.
Sodas.
Small soda.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
But it's just, we want to give back to them. And like I said earlier, we want to form those relationships outside of just sales and real estate.
Yeah. That's great. And again, that's you being a good neighbor and giving back. And so we want to do the same thing for you. And we knew that you had that event coming up. And so Megan, I'm going to hand it off to you.
Yes. So we want to help you to give back to your people. So this is a $100 Visa gift card to give out as a prize.
Thank you
in
very
your
much.
event tomorrow night.
Thank you guys very much. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we're so excited that we get to partner with Landon and Five Stone, and if you want us to come to your local company, business, whatever, next year, we're going to be putting together a calendar of where we're going to go. Our plan is to try to do it on the last Wednesday of every month, and kind of hang out and learn from others how to be a good neighbor and be a good neighbor. So, Landon, thank you so much for opening up your space and allowing us to come in and be a part of this. And Brandon, you got any final thoughts, man?
Well, the only one thing I wanted to ask Landon real quick is, speaking of David and Goliath, I mean, what gave you the confidence to face the giants of the real estate world? I mean, I know it's got to be tough to, be a smaller agency in a market that's dominated by a lot of the big name. Yeah. So what gives you the confidence to be successful in this?
We were kind of talking about this before the show. Sales is one of those things that you get to see God show up every single time. And I think if it wasn't for that and just relying on where is business going to come from, we've got plans, but God shows up every single time. When we think we're having a slow month or we're looking at that bank account and it's gotten lower than we're comfortable with, God shows up and he sends us somebody, or he sends us a great agent. And so it wasn't a single point to say, you know what, kind of making that decision. It's kind of evolved from starting out as a single agent to being on a team to opening the brokerage. But it's that same mentality that just God is sovereign, God's in control, and no matter if it's in real estate sales or property management or investments, like he is going to show up and he's going to make it work out. So,
yeah, awesome. I think the key to remember with God showing up is so often he don't show up the way we expected him to show up.
Right.
He's going to show up in the best way possible. So I just want to say, like, when you are praying and you're being obedient and you're trying to, God, where are you? Chances are he is already right there. You're just looking at it from a one-track mind, from a specific perspective that is specific to you and almost often selfish. He's already there.
Yeah.
Trust him and don't try to put him in your lane.
Right.
Just like
that's the one thing I've always said is, our plan B is God's plan A.
Yes,
like
I knew you said something like that, and I was trying to think it. I was rambling like it's gonna come to me. So thank you. You saved the day. Look, God right there. Like just let Brandon, the one who said it to start with, say it.
That's right. Yeah. But that's an important thing to remember.
Yeah.
Like every time you're struggling, like, God, where are you? I mean, you just got to remember, your plan B, plan C, plan D is his plan A all along.
And sometimes failure is a part of that.
Correct.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Like failure is a part of it. No is an answered prayer.
Right.
Like sometimes God has to tell you no, and the answer to your prayer that you wanted isn't it. I often use this reference. This is just something I've always taught. You ask God for $1 million, he ain't gonna give you $1 million. He's gonna give you ways to get $1 million over time, because he knows if I give you $1 million, you're gonna blow it. You're not gonna know how to manage it. So he's gonna lead you in a way that not only do you get the $1 million, but
Or he puts a million deer in your living room. You seen that?
yeah, you got to be careful how you pray.
Cody just perked up. He said, "What?
$1 million? Like what? What are you talking about?" So you have to think about that. Like sometimes we pray for the final product,
That's right.
and then God puts us through the process, and we hate the process. So
And a lot of times I think God is, when we think we're failing, God wants us to use that and put that into ministry to help other people succeed.
Absolutely.
Where you learned about your failure to help
Right.
other people succeed in that.
yeah. Well, guys, this has been great. We are at 12:30. Reminder: just text Motivate to 540-900-3838. Everybody on our team has access to that number. We'll do our very best to motivate you. We are having a little bit of issues with calling into that after hours, I guess is how you would say it. Listen, if you call it, let it ring. Just let it ring. It takes a little while to get to us, but let it ring. We'll answer it. We'll hang out with you. Share this with your friends and your family, especially over the holiday as you're trying to make decisions and things like that. Just know that God is right there in the choices, and you just trust Him, be obedient, and understand that even when you face the giant, sometimes the weapon that He gives you isn't what you thought it was. This has been great. Thank you, Landon and Five Stone Realty Group, for taking time to allow us to be here. We may or may not do a show next week. It's to be determined. I don't know if we will. I don't want this to be the last one of the year. So be on the lookout. We'll share it on social media. We'll shoot out a text to our group. Without further ado, this has been Midweek Motivation.